I've previously documented my experiences with the world's most commonly renowned electric guitars. I've looked at Strats, Teles, Les Pauls and SGs, but there's one kind of guitar that I don't think gets enough love, so I bought one. This is Gear Profile. Hello, my name is Marc Gallagher and welcome to Gear Profile, where I take a look at a piece of gear that I have and love and I tell its story, why it speaks to me, and of course, give it a play. Today we're looking at my Epiphone Firebird VII, something that went from a curio to an obsession to the most expensive guitar that I had ever bought to that point. I think my first experience with the Firebird style guitar came at the Cheshire Guitar Show in Crewe around about 2011 sort of time. I have no pictures and my memory is fuzzy, but at one of the stalls in the corner I saw a guitar with a funny shape and a cherry burst, and I asked about it. I clarified it was a Firebird and I tried it and I enjoyed what I played, even if I didn't quite understand it or couldn't even afford to take it home. A couple of years ago, while I was filling up my house with Strats and Teles, I started thinking more about Firebirds and the more unusual guitars. A great resource for me was the 5 Watt World short history on the Firebird, as well as Retschel's The Firebird Sound video. With me learning about how the Firebird pickups are their own thing in terms of design, construction and sound, I knew that the Firebird would carve out its own sonic niche and not just be a merely funny body shape. The search began for me. I was looking for a Gibson or Epiphone Firebird, some with a tremolo arm, some without, and at some point I tried one in a local hardware store while an employee was selling it on Marketplace. It was a Gibson in Sunburst for around about 1700 quid, and while I knew I couldn't afford it, the chance to play a Gibson Firebird really helped me get the Firebird's sound and feel, and it was from there I knew for definite that it was a guitar type I wanted. I knew I definitely didn't want the Firebird with just the one pickup, so I was looking at either the 5 or the 7s with 3 pickups. I spent time at Johnny Roadhouse in Manchester trying their guitars and acquainting myself with what I liked and disliked in a Firebird. I was also very wary of the Gibson Firebird studio models. They use set necks instead of the through neck construction, and also crucially, they use regular humbuckers instead of Firebird pickups, so I knew that that was a specific kind of guitar I didn't want. Eventually I purchased some Chinese copy model because it had gold hardware and a really nice finish. My mentality was, if it's crap, we'll just modify the hell out of it. Unfortunately, that guitar got marked as delivered on all sites, even when it didn't make its way to my house or the country. Thankfully, I was able to get refunded, but the search continued for a little bit longer. Finally, it came down to a Epiphone Firebird VII in red with gold hardware in Hayward's Heath. I played and taught at a ukulele club the night before, and I ended up making a short drive away from that club, and I picked up this stunning guitar for £750, the most I had ever spent on a guitar at that point. Yes, that does imply I've bought a more expensive guitar since, and yes, I will get to that eventually. There have been a few changes since, but it's a guitar that I've loved having to practice with and take it out to jam nights, even if it's not one I've gigged with yet. This is an Epiphone Firebird VII in red. The 7 has 3 pickups and the Maestro trem system, and also gold hardware, which honestly really swayed me. The neck pickup had been swapped into something else in a past life. I know this because the pickup cover was silver and not gold. And then shortly afterwards, the bridge pickup had a dead short, so I went shopping. Firebird pickups in a set of 3 are hard to come by as standard. I was looking around at a few boutique makers and I learned that in sets of 3, the middle is usually just a secondary neck pickup. My search concluded with Fletcher pickups in Birmingham. He had a really good selection of Firebird options, so I went for the, I think it's called Hotbird, but I had a 10% underwind with the gold covers, and also really kindly, he found a promo code for me, a discount code, and it cost me about 300-ish for the set of pickups. The The Firebird has a unique pickup type compared to other guitars. Often confused as mini humbuckers, Firebird pickups actually use bar magnets like you'd see in P90s. One common quality of the sound of a Firebird pickup is like Telecaster on steroids. And on the Firebirds that I tried, I really enjoyed the bridge pickup in particular. But in addition, the middle pickup gives some fun quirks. One of the reasons I opted for the Firebird VII was because of the 3 pickups. Some people will say that the third pickup in the middle kind of gets in the way of like one's plectrum and picking hand. I've not found that to be the case, quite honestly, but I also just like having the options. I also think it looks really cool, even if it is less common, a bit more unusual, and also just like having the sonic options. I got this modded or available such that we've got 3 volume knobs, so 2 for the main, neck and bridge pickups, but also we've got the middle pickup is set to always on, regardless of what position it is, and controllable via one knob, and then we have a master tone. Generally, I favour the neck pickup. I feel like that's just my preferred sound on this guitar. You've got just a massive fatness. I did also raise the pickup height on that a little bit. I could probably lower it a touch because it can be a little overpowering. A lot of people really favour the bridge pickup sound. It's kind of like a classic Firebird thing, the whole like Telecaster on steroids vibe. Sounds something like this. But it's the middle pickup that I find incredibly fascinating because of the overtones it gives. Something like this on its own. There's a little bit about it that kind of reminds me of the overtone setting in the Boss ME80. It's one of the mod modes, which is kind of fun. Just the way it kind of grabs your ear. And there's something really fascinating about the middle pickup on its own in that context. What also really surprised me about the Firebird is the blending of the neck and the middle pickup for like some almost stratty tones. If I was to do the neck pickup on its own, it would be something like... When I bring the middle pickup in at the same volume, that's something like this. I guess we could try the same kind of thing for the middle and bridge, see what that's like. It's less kind of obvious there, but in the neck and the middle, it sounds so stratty to me, and it's really interesting getting that from Firebirds, which are kind of like mini humbuckers, just with bar magnets instead of like the other kinds in traditional like mini humbuckers. But still, it's a really fascinating tone that I really didn't expect when I got the pickup swapped over. And because the pickups I got made were like designed to be really hot, because that's kind of an aesthetic I really like, it's making these like 10 and 15 watt amps kind of growl a little bit without the need for pedals. Dialing those back still really satisfying though for some cleans. That being said, it does take pedals well. Here is the neck pickup on channel 1 of the Wampler Paisley Deluxe. It's such a peculiar shape of guitar, but the Firebird sonically holds its own beyond being merely visually striking, of which it most definitely is. It's not exactly the first guitar that I'd reach for, but it's one I'm very glad to have in my collection, and it's got everything I want in a Firebird. It's got 3 pickups, a great red collar, it's got the tremolo arm. All that's missing is the Gibson logo, but because I don't have the requisite $3,000 for a Gibson, this will have to do. My name is Marc Gallagher, and this has been Gear Profile. Thank you for watching, and let me know if you have any thoughts down in the comments. You can also follow me on your social media of choice at Marc Gallagher Music, and do consider supporting me on Patreon. But for now, my name is Marc Gallagher. Like the video if you want, share if you feel compelled to, and follow me on places. I'll catch you down the road.